Okay, so I'm Nick Stone. I write books too, but not books like this guy. The person I'm here to introduce honestly doesn't need much of an introduction, but he's a nerd, he has no hair, and he's like kind of amazing. He's won a Newbery, like he's done all of these amazing things, right? The past few years, Mr. Alexander, this is Kwame Alexander if you were not aware. So over the past few years, Kwame has been doing some other stuff. And I've been just blown away by the stuff that you have accomplished over the past few years. You did like a kids TV show. Right now we're working on a reality TV show about authors. You were writing a television show based on your novel, The Crossover, that will be on Disney Plus. Like what? And now we're getting a new book. So I want to know how you managed to weave writing into everything else you were doing.
Well, first of all, hello, everybody. I am so honored to be here to be moderated by the infamous Nick Stone. And I want to thank the Library of Congress, Dr. Hayden, and everyone just for keeping this event going. Mm-hmm. Isn't this the first time we're back, like, in person?
Yep.
Wow. So, I mean, to answer your question, how do I sort of weave writing into it and how do I do all these things? Well, number one, I go to the spa.
I like the spa.
You know? I've always sort of believed that I could change the world through my writing.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about when was the first time I thought I could be a writer and I could do all these writerly things. And it was in college at a place called Virginia Tech. And I was, oh, we got some Hokies here?
Hey, hey.
I was studying biochemistry. And I decided after I got
a nerd.
Yeah, I was a nerd.
I love it.
But after I got a C- in organic chemistry, I was like, I think I'm gonna take a poetry class. So I took a poetry class with somebody you all may have heard of. Her name was Nikki Giovanni. And I remember her classes were Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at like 10 a.m. Well, on one Friday, Nikki wasn't there. We had a substitute. And I was like, well, where's Nikki? And they said, well, Nikki's off speaking at the University of Iowa. And I was like, really? And I did a little research, and I was like, Nikki Giovanni speaks like 2 or 3 times a week, and she gets paid a lot of money to do it. And I was like, whoa, I want to be a poet. Like, this is going to be my job one day. And I saw this person who was actually doing it and making a living from it. And that was 1987. And I think from then on, I was like, everything I can put my hands on that has to do with words and making words dance on the page, I'm going to do it. And it started with writing a poetry book. And of course, you know, it's culminated in all these fabulous things like you mentioned, the Disney Plus TV show.
Yeah, yeah. So you said it was 1987.
Yeah.
I was 2.
Thanks a lot for mentioning that.
You're welcome. But I mention that because there are kids all in front of us, right? You write in such a way that you are still able, in your extended age, to connect with the young people.
Right.
And I want to know how you are able to keep a thumb on the pulse of what young people like and what makes their hearts beat.
I feel like I'm a kid at heart.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel extended age, as it were.
Just saying.
Whatever that means. I still feel like I'm a kid at heart. And I write stuff that I would have loved to have read when I was like Gavin's age. Gavin's a student at St. Joseph's in Baltimore. Like, so when I was writing The Crossover, I remember trying to figure out, well, if I write a poem that rhymes and has some rhythm, how would I have liked this poem when I was 10 or 11? So that becomes my sort of gauge. So I remember this poem I wrote, a quick shoulder shake, a slick eye fake. Number 28 is way past late. He's reading me like a book, but I turn the page and watch him look, which can only mean I got him shook. His feet are the bank and I'm the crook. Breaking, taking him to the left. Now he's took. Number 14 joins in. Now he's on the hook. I got 2 in my kitchen.
Man, you just blowing it up.
I guess I'm blowing up, y'all.
The bars are dropping so hard right now. It's amazing.
What's your name?
Tony.
Give it up for Tony, y'all.
Thank you, Tony.
So yeah, I just try to remember what I would have liked to have read when I was younger and what I like now.
I love it. I love it. Now this new book. Look, yeah, we all know Kwame got the bars. He got all the juice, the undefeated. Like we got Caldecott, we got Newbery Honor. Like there's so many things.
Actually,
You're
it was a
able
Newbery Medal. It wasn't Newbery Honor.
No. The Newbery Medal was on the crossover.
you-
I said the undefeated, okay?
You're
Like
bad.
don't do me. I
You're
stalk
bad.
you effectively.
Yes.
This book though is different.
Yeah.
It's different. I mean, it's in verse, but you doing some new stuff.
Well, the thing is, here's the thing, Nick. By the way, y'all, show some love for 2 of my favorite books written by Nick Stone, Dear Martin, Dear Justice. Give it up. Go
Thank
get
you.
them in the bookstore. So I set out to write a book about a boy who has a crush on a girl, and he has a cousin who's a bully who likes the same girl. And his cousin beats him in everything, in racing, in wrestling. Well, one day he gets an idea, because he's a really good swimmer, that he's gonna challenge his cousin to a swim-off. And if he beats his cousin, then he'll win the heart of the girl. So he goes down to the river every day to practice swimming, and he's getting faster, and he's doing his thing. And the night before the big swim-off, he goes to the river one more time to get one more practice session in, even though he's been told by the elders in his community, do not go to the river at night because the water is cursed. But he goes one more time, and he's swimming, and it's fast, and he can see the moon, and he comes out of the river, and I can't tell you what happened.
No, you can't. I was like, he better stop right there. Oh my gosh.
But I can tell you that what happens changes the course of his life and the course of history. It's a new novel that you so kindly mentioned. It's called The Door of No Return,
Yes.
and it comes out on September the 27th.
Hit us with one of these poems,
Oh,
please.
okay. So, all right. So there's a big wrestling tournament that's taking place in his community. And he's at the wrestling tournament waiting for the wrestlers to start. And the girl he likes, her name is Amma, she comes up to him and taps him on the shoulder. And this is what happens. If you were a mango, I'd peel you. Keep you for myself, then reveal you. If you disappeared, I would find you. Treat you like gold and then mine you. If you were a secret, I'd carry you between my 2 lips and then marry you. Is what I want to say to the girl who makes my heart wobble and my stomach beat like a drum. But what actually comes out of my salty mouth is, would you like some nuts? Right? So yeah.
Bringing it again. I can't wait for this book to be out in the world. Okay, so you said September 22nd it's coming out.
Yep.
Are you going to be, are there places people will be able to see you where we've read the book and you're going to be talking about it a little more in depth?
Yeah, so I really want to tell y'all what the book is about, but I don't want to spoil it. There's a little bit of a twist in the book, right? And so I'll be in 10 cities, and I'll be talking about the book, and hopefully, towards the end of the tour, people will have read the book, and then I can really talk about it. But I can't talk about it now because I don't want to spoil it.
Valid.
Yeah, I'll be in 10 cities like Oakland, San Francisco, Berkeley, Portland.
He's back, y'all.
Nashville.
He back.
Yeah, New
love
York. just a bunch of places.
Okay,
But
now
yeah.
this is a question that has just been like strumming in my brain. Is the crossover gonna rhyme? The TV show?
Is the crossover TV
Like
show
the
gonna run?
script? Like, are they gonna be like? Are we gonna get like modern day Shakespeare
Is it
on
gonna be
TV?
like corny? Is that what
Not
you're asking?
corny. Shakespeare's not corny.
All right,
Okay, I'm
all right.
saying like there's an art to like thespianness that I feel like you could do on TV, especially the way that you write.
I feel like you just invented a word.
Thespianness.
That's beautiful.
That's what we do.
I'll tell y'all 5 things about the crossover TV show. Number 1, yes, there is poetry in the show. Number 2, the poetry is narrated. So it's sort of like, remember the Wonder Years and you had the narrator?
Yes.
So we have a narrator. And the narrator is Thomas Jefferson from Hamilton. Right? Daveed Diggs. He's playing the narrator, so you'll hear a lot of verse from him. The third thing I'll tell you about the crossover is in episode 7, I make an appearance. It's like my Stan Lee moment.
Yes.
So the writer for episode 7 wrote me into the script as the janitor. Why y'all laughing? I was like, why I gotta play the janitor? So then Disney Plus was like, Kwame Alexander can't play the janitor because he's not in SAG, the Screen Actors Guild. And so you can't play this role. Like some whole thing. So then they were like, but if you play Kwame Alexander,
Yes.
then you can be in it. So they rewrote the janitor role, and I'm playing myself. The fourth thing I'll tell you is that in episode 6, one of my best friends, who's the New York Times best-selling author for kids' books, is in the show. It's like I'm not gonna tell you who it is, but watch episode 6, and like at about the 18-minute mark, you'll see his head pop up, like for like 2 seconds. He didn't even get paid, he just came down and did it.
I love it.
The fifth thing I will tell you is that the executive producer, one of the executive producers of the crossover is the greatest basketball player ever, and probably one of the greatest people off the court that I know of. He built a school in a place called Akron, Ohio, and his name is LeBron James.
Ooh. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And last question from me. Speaking of building things, how's your library?
I built a library in a place called Ghana, West Africa. Yeah, and I built it with a lot of friends, a lot of family. I named it after my mother. It's called the Barbara E. Alexander Memorial Library. And I have not been back to the library in 5 years because of COVID and some other stuff, but I get pictures every now and then, and I see kids sitting in the library doing their homework. It's in the eastern region of Ghana in a place called Koforidua. And I see kids in the library sitting on bean bags, reading books, doing their homework. It's the best thing in the world to see this thing that we built as a group, as a community, sort of taking life, coming to life, coming into fruition, and being functional. So
Yeah.
it's doing well. Thank you for asking that.
Yes, of course. All right, so we're gonna open the floor to questions. Kids, you have dibs. There's a microphone right here at the center of the stage. So if you come and lining up will be a little tricky, but you guys, I think, can manage. You are in classrooms all the time, so let's do this. Pretend like you're in class. So the microphone's right here in the center. Just walk over to it.
They got one right there too.
Oh, there's one. See,
Yeah.
I can't see because the podium, y'all.
Right.
My bad.
All right, go ahead.
What's the longest novel you made?
In terms of how long it took or how big the book is?
How big it is?
How big it is. So I wrote a novel with a friend of mine named Mary Rand Hess, and it's called Swing. It's about 2 best friends who are trying to find cool. They're trying to be cool, and because they're very uncool in their minds. And it's about baseball, it's about art, It's about jazz music, and it's a love story, and it's probably 498 pages.
Wait, give us insight though into the word count, because a lot of the time you'll have a book that's 498 pages, but it's like not as long as you would think a 498 page book is.
So what Nick is saying is that traditionally when novelists write a novel, it's in prose,
Right.
paragraph format. And so a 500-page novel might be
It's like 125,000 words.
125,000 words. And so my novels are in verse. There's a lot of white space. So Nick is trying to point out that I don't have to spend as much time writing. And I don't appreciate that.
That
But-
actually, what I was trying to point out is that you do a lot with a little, and that is talent.
This
Thank
is
you.
why I love you. This is why I love you. Yeah, so the word count on that swing book was probably about 24,000
That's
words.
amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a good point.
She didn't say whoa, Kwame, just so you know. She was impressed.
I know as a kid now, I look up to a lot of people. I look up to you. You're one of my heroes personally. But as a kid, who did you look up to and who inspires you to write your books?
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I looked up to my parents and my grandparents, like my family, my aunts, my uncles, things I remember. My father and my mother were writers and were educators. And, you know, I just had a lot of great family members who were just doing things in the world that were interesting. And it's sort of, I wanted to impress them, you know, and I wanted to be like, my uncle Bob was a police officer, and I remember thinking that was so cool. And I remember he was a chess player, and I remember him teaching me how to play chess. And I remember him getting a phone call in the middle of the lesson. And I remember he still, like to this day, he never came back to teach me how to play chess. But I remember being really just feeling like I have a great family. So I looked up to my family. In terms of writers, it was Nikki Giovanni, it was Langston Hughes.
Okay.
All right. Out of all your poetries that you made, what's your favorite stanza of poetry? Your favorite of all time?
Favorite one.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do my favorite poem of all time, and I'm gonna need your help with it. I'm gonna need your help with it.
All right.
So I'm gonna do a quick poem, and I'm gonna leave some of the words blank, and you gotta fill in the words. Okay? What's your name?
Ibrahim,
Ibrahim, what grade are you in?
5th.
Fifth. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Kick so hot his feet glow, move so cold you see snow, tall as a cypress tree, bro, game so lit make seeds.
Blow.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was grow, but blow could work. In your face 3D show, game so deep it's
Below.
below. Yeah. Air so swift you breathe slow. Watch me fly from the free throw. Superman is sweet, yo, but Ibrahim is my he.
Yo.
Ibrahim is my he. Ro, give it up for Ibrahim, y'all.
Hi, my question's way less inspiring than my friend, but you said you studied organic science. What did you originally want to become?
That's a great question. I wanted to be a pediatrician. Yeah, I wanted to change the world by helping kids like feel better physically. And I guess now we're in the business
it.
of making kids feel better intellectually, emotionally.
intellectually, and mentally.
Yeah, so thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, what is your favorite book to write about and why?
My favorite book to what?
Write about and why?
Wow. Well, my favorite book is always the book I'm writing now. Right? And so right now, I wrote this book called The Undefeated, and which is about the tragedy and the triumph of black people in America, right? It's about the woe and the wonder. And now I'm writing a book about the history of black music, like where it started and where it is now. And it's like 400 words,
Yes.
right? So it's a poem.
Talent.
It's a
It's
poem.
talent.
So yeah, so I think that's my favorite book right now. Thank you.
So mine is more inspirational than the last one that just went up. It's not as inspirational as the first one. But mine is, where did you get your idea to make the book crossover?
Wow. So where did I get the idea? All right, before I answer that, Nick, where did you get the idea to write Dear Martin?
The news.
The news.
Yeah.
Watching the news.
Current events. Yeah, some current events that were bothering me. I write about stuff that bothers me.
Here's the thing.
Same, right?
Same.
Yeah.
Many of our ideas don't even come from here and in here. They come from out there.
Yep.
We are walking around being willing participants in life, paying attention, seeing what's happening, and it impacts us. And in order for us to deal with it, to cope, we got to write it out. And so the idea for the crossover, here's the funny thing, was not my idea. It came from this beautiful, brilliant woman who's like 4.5 feet tall. That's really of no merit, but the point is, she said, Kwame, you should write a book about two brothers who play basketball, and you should write the book in verse. And I was like, yes. So the idea came from someone else, and I just took it and ran with it.
Thank you.
When did you first start writing poetry?
I wrote my first poem when I was maybe 11 years old, and I wrote it from my mother on Mother's Day. Would you like to hear the poem?
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, it went like this. Dear Mommy, I hate Mother's Day. Because in my heart, every day is Mother's Day, and I love you, dear Mommy. That was a horrible poem. But my mother loved it, and she cried. And I was like, wow, this poetry thing kind of works.
When you were a kid, did you like reading poetry, or were there other genres of literature that you liked reading better?
So my father is here somewhere, so I have to be careful. Because my father used to make me read the encyclopedia, and he had me read his dissertations from Teachers College, Columbia University. So he's sitting over there. You can ask him about it later. My favorite book as a 3-year-old was a book called Fox in Socks. And it was written by a poet named Dr.
Seuss.
And I remember reading that book, memorizing it, loved it. Fox, socks, Knox, box. Fox in socks, socks in box. And I was going to this school in New York City. It was a school called Riverside. And I remember one day, I had built a house out of wooden blocks. At the end of school, I was going to show it to my mom and sort of like impress her. Well, this kid in my class knocked over my blocks. And so I went up to him with the only weapons I had, my words. And I said, those were my blocks that you flipped. Lest you want a quick payback, better fix my quick block stack. And the kid started crying.
Ooh.
And when my mother came to school, the teachers were like, Mrs. Alexander, we have a problem. Your son Kwame is arrogant. He intimidates the other kids with his words. And my mother said, thank you. We teach him to use his words.
Yeah.
All right, last question.
My name's Jackie, and I was gonna ask, what advice would you give to a future writer or poet?
That's an excellent question to end on.
I'll let you answer that first. What
Ew,
advice
what?
would you give
Now
to
they're
a
here to
future
listen to
writer
you.
or
They're
poet?
not here to hear
No,
me.
but I want to hear what you have to say.
I have 3 pieces of advice. Number 1, you got to read. Anybody in here who is an athlete, you watch the sport that you play because it helps you get better without action, right? I've never met a good basketball player who doesn't watch basketball. Never. So, in order to write, you need to read. Second, you actually have to write. I know a lot of people who are afraid to sit down and put pen to page because, you know, what if it's not good enough, et cetera, et cetera. But writing it's yours. It belongs to you. So sit down and actually do it. And then the third piece of advice I have is be a creep. You're a kid. You can get away with it. You got to watch people and eavesdrop. Listen to their conversations, watch their faces, watch their mannerisms, and you incorporate all of that into your stories because all stories are somehow about humanity.
That's good. That's solid.
Thank you.
Solid. Y'all give it up. Give it up. Before I answer, I got to shout out my kid. Samaya, are you here? Where's my daughter? Where are you? There she is. There's my daughter, y'all.
So tall.
Because a lot of my inspiration comes from her, for sure. All right, here's what I offer to writers. Becoming. I will say that you have got to be confident. You've got to feel like your words matter. You've got to feel like you have a voice. You got to be confident in it, which means you got to put in the work. You got to be good at it, which means you got to read a lot. So, I mean, the crossover was rejected 22 times before it got published. The entire 5 years that I got those rejections, I believed that it was good, even though people were saying that it wasn't. So how can you have that sort of mentality that you are good enough? You got to say it every day. So let's end on this. Y'all repeat after me. I am the greatest.
I am the greatest.
Not because I am better than anyone.
Not because I am better than anyone,
But because no one is better than me.
but because no one is better than me.
And all right, and so we're going to end on one more thing. I promise
I promise
to buy Nick and Kwame's books.
to buy Nick and
Thank y'all so
Kwame's
much.
books. Thank y'all.
Thank you.